ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सर्ववेदान्त सिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरम् गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम् सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। Hari Om. So we started this beautiful text, Vivekacu last class, and I gave you a brief introduction. And we also covered the first verse, which is an invocation. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmiham, where Bhashyakara salutes his Guru and indicates that the Guru is none other than that Sad Brahman that is revealed and not by any other means. In this way, the subject matter is also introduced and revealed. And now we continue with the second verse. Jantūnām narajanma durlabhamatah Jantūnām narajanma durlabhamatah Pumstvam tato viprata Tasmādvaitika dharma marga parata Tasmādvaitika dharma marga parata Vidvatvamasmat param Vidvatvamasmat param Atmanatma vivechanam svanubhavas Atmanatma vivechanam svanubhava Brahmatmana samstitihi Brahmatmana samstitihi मुक्तिर्नो शतजन्मकोटिः सुकृतैः मुक्तिर्नो शतजन्मकोटिः सुकृतैः पुण्यैर्विना लभ्यते पुण्यैर्विना लभ्यते जन्तूनां नरजन्म दुर्लभमतः पुंस्त्वं ततो विप्रता तस्माद्वैदिकधर्ममार्गपरता विद्वत्त्वमस्मात् परम् आत्मानात्मविवेचनं स्वनुभवः ब्रह्मात्मना संस्थितिः मुक्तिर्नो शतजन्मकोटिसुकृतैः पुण्यैर्विना लभ्यते. A beautiful verse. Right away, the opening ball itself, he hits a sixer. In the following 4 verses, 2 to 5, Bhagwan Shankaracharya talks about the glory of Manushya Janma, human birth, by pointing out how rare it is to get it. It is said that there are 8.4 million different species of living beings. 8.4 million. So the chance of getting a human birth is 1 in 8.4 million. The odds of hitting a mega million or Powerball jackpot is more something like 292 to 294, something like million to 1. Only that is has less probability than getting a human birth. That is how rare this human birth is. Not only is it rare, in this birth alone, moksha, liberation, is possible. The other species do not have that free will, either to do or to know, nothing. They don't follow, they cannot follow karma kanda. A cow cannot and need not study what is Sukshma Sharira, Karana Sharira, etc. Need not study and practice Veda Purva Karma or prepare for Veda Anta Jnana. So the animals do not have both Dharma and Moksha Purushartha. It's only the human beings that are endowed with this rare Purushartha or free will. Shankaracharya says that if you miss this birth, we do not know when we will get this chance again, get this opportunity again. Nobody knows whether one would be born next. Maybe a cockroach, a lizard, pig, buffalo, snake, or a mosquito. It's all possible. Therefore, do not take this human birth for granted. Then what should I do? Study Vivek Chudamani. After having born a human being, there are so many other favorable conditions that are required for moksha. Human birth alone is not enough. It's an excellent start. Without that, it's not going to happen. Now that you have it, what should you do next? And if you don't them, you will be like so many other human beings who are much closer to the four-legged animals. That's all. Therefore, here, Shankaracharya gives a list of things so that we are proud of our birth and we will make use of this birth properly. Appreciate this rare opportunity. What are they? Jantunam narajanma durlabham. Jantuhu means jivaha. They're called Jantu because Jiva is born again and again. Birth is nothing but acquiring a physical body. The Jiva is Sukshma Shariram plus Karana Shariram plus reflected Chaitanyam. So Chaitanya Sahita Sukshma Karana Shariram is called Jiva. Then Janma, birth, is acquiring a physical body for this Jiva. So acquiring a physical body is called Janma, and dropping that body is Maranam, death. And acquiring another physical body is rebirth. And again, Maranam is the death of that physical body. Thus, this Jantu acquires many physical bodies. Vasani yata vihaya, we have already seen in the Bhagavad Gita also, famous verse. Among these Janmas, acquiring Narajanma, the human birth, taking a Durlabham, very difficult to get. Very difficult to get. It's rare. It's precious. The Manushya Stula Sharira Prapti is superior because in Manushya Shariram alone, this Sukshma Shariram can fully express. There is a Sukshma Shariram behind an elephant also. Now, Sukshma Shariram has Pancha Jnanendriyani, the 5 organs of knowledge, Pancha Karmendriyani, 5 organs of action, Pancha Pranas, the 5 pranas, Manaha, mind, and Buddhi. Remember, the elephant Sukshma Shariram also has Mana Buddhi Chitta Ahankara. But the Mana Buddhi Chitta Ahankara of the elephant cannot express independently because that poor body is an elephant body. But when in a future Janma, when it acquires a human Stula Sharira, it will not get a new Buddhi. But that Buddhi will be capable of expressing better. Therefore, in Manushya Stula Sharira alone, the Sukshma Sharira can fully express itself. That is why this Manushya Sharira, the human body, is precious and rare also. The Stula Sharira does not have Buddhi. Do not say that Manushya Sharira has Buddhi. The Manushya Sharira can express the Buddhi which is contained, located in the Sukshma Sharira only. So now further, after the rare Manushyatvam comes Pumstatvam, Pumstvam, manliness, independence, courage. Emotional independence is especially called Pumstvam. A weak mind is a mind that always wants to cling on to something or the other, wants to cling on to someone or the other. That mind wants some dependence on someone, whereas Vedanta is talking about the highest stage of sannyasa in which a person does not depend on anything, does not depend on anyone. And in moksha, there is not even dependence on the Lord. There is a total Atmani eva Atmana tushtaha, total self-dependence. Therefore, we travel from world dependence to God dependence to self dependence or independence. Therefore, ultimately, self-dependence or independence is the aim of moksha. And as long as a person wants to hold on to things, that mind cannot succeed in Vedantic study. That's why we will see later also, na karmana prajaya dhanena tyagena ike amritatva manashuhu. All the dependence, all the relations. Sarvasanga parityagaha, giving up all dependence is required, is a must. For that, more than the physical strength, mental strength is required. That mind, which has such a strength, is called a manly mind. That is called pum. Of course, Shastra allows temporary dependence. Just as a child makes use of a walk initially, learning to walk, as it is developing the motor skills, it can make use of all that. Similarly, even adults, after you have a knee surgery, use the walker, crutches, all that. But even for that, the doctor will say, try to get rid of those crutches as soon as you can. As and when you can walk on your own, you should do that. Don't be overly dependent on that. When that goes for a physical thing like that, what to talk about mental dependence and mental independence. But if you hold on to that, a child, if it holding on to that walker, people will be laughing at that person. So one has to take to dependence, but should drop all that at the appropriate time. The mind has to do that. If the mind cannot take to that, the mind may drop the worldly dependence, but take to dependence on Guru. Guru dependence is fine as a stepping stone. But hanging on and not letting go, that dependence also, that is also a samsara. Similarly, the dependence on Ishta Devata, your personal God, that's wonderful starting point. But finally, one has to transcend that also. Netam yaditam upasate. We see in Kenopanishad. Vedanta is ruthless. It doesn't allow you any kind, be it to Guru or to your personal God. No. So, pumstvam means a person has this kind of inner strength to go to Advaitam, to go to Kaivalyam, go to non duality. That is called manliness. Pumstvam. And Mundakopanishad says, Nayamatma balahinena labhyaha. A weak-minded person or a sentimental person or an emotional person who wants to cling on to something or the other, to someone or the other, that person, Atma na labhyaha. That person cannot gain that Atma. In short, a petty mind is a weak mind, a clinging mind. A non clinging mind is called manly mind. A woman having a strong mind has pumstvam. A man clinging on to someone else, like the child clinging on to its mother, cannot be called a man. People will laugh at such a person, call him mama's boy. Therefore, we are talking about in terms of inner mental strength, not the physical body of a man or a woman. So that pumstvam is a next rare thing. Thereafter, tataha viprata, the next stage, which is still rarer, is viprata, scriptural learning, studying the scriptures. Janmana jayate shudraha, karmana dvija uchyate, veda pathena viprasyad. Brahmano Brahma Vedanat. Everyone by birth is a Shudra only. When does he become a Dvija, twice born? Karmana Dvija Uchyate. When he takes to the sacred thread, the Upanayanam is done. When he decides to study the scriptures, the Upanayanam is done. Gayatri Mantra Upadesha is done. So here the sacred thread is not enough. That is just to enter the study of scriptures. Then he is born a second time, that is called Dvijaha, second birth, because in his first birth, he is a Shudra only, uncultured. He cannot study the scriptures. He is still a Prakrita Purusha. Prakrita Purusha, wild, unrefined, uncultured. After Upanayanam, he is going to become tamed, disciplined, cultured, Samskrita Purusha, he will become. So the rebirth is from Prakrita Purusha to Samskrita Purusha. That is the sacred thread ceremony. Thus he becomes Dvijaha, twice born. The first birth is from the mother's womb. The father and the mother, physical, biological parents. Then the guru that gives him the Gayatri Mantra Upadesha, and the Gayatri Mantra is the mother. And the guru will become the father once he enters the Gurukula. And there he is going to study, learn what is dharma, what is adharma. That is called Veda Pataha. So through the study of the scriptures, Veda Patena Vipraha, the Dvija is promoted to Vipraha. So when we say Veda Pataha, it means Dharma, Adharma, Shastra Jnanam. How to live in this society. How to live in the family. How to treat the family members. How to live with the neighbors. How to treat the other citizens of the world. All that you will learn, and when you learn that, that person becomes Vipraha. Therefore, that is still rare. Manushyatvam, to be born as a human being, is rare. After that, pumsatvam, manliness, having courage, ambitious, emotionally stable, All that is rare. Then Viprata, taking to studying the scriptures, that is still rarer. As we go higher and higher, we find it is rarer and rarer. Next one, Tasmat Vaidika Dharma Marga Parata. Learning is not enough. Person can become an academic scholar. He may know what is dharma, what is adharma, but that is utterly useless if a person does not follow the lifestyle prescribed in the Shastras. That way they always say Satyam Vada, Dharmanchara. Chara means Achara, Anushtana. Dharma is not for speaking, Dharma is for practice. So without practice, Dharma is useless. Many people who are scholars, Duryodhana was a scholar. He said, Janami dharmam. I know what is dharma. Nachame pravritti. Of course, I cannot practice that. Janami adharmam. I know what is adharma. Nachame nivritti. But I cannot give it up. So, what is the use of knowledge? The knowledge must change your character, your conduct, must change your behavior. Therefore, Shankaracharya says, Vaidika Dharma Marga Parata. There must be a commitment to the pursuit of Dharma Marga, righteous way of living. How do you know what is Dharma and what is Adharma? Many people may interpret it in many different ways. Who is to decide? Who is the supreme authority for deciding what is Dharma and what is Adharma? So Bhashikara says, Vaidika Dharma Margaha Parata. Vedas make this the supreme goal. That means we should have Shraddha in the Vedic scriptures. And that is included in Viprata. Both faith in the scriptures and learning of the scriptures should be included in Viprata. In fact, following the Vedic lifestyle with the Astika Buddhi is the next rarer thing. This should be done for a long time. In Brahmacharya Ashrama, a person studies the Vedas, and Grihastha Ashrama and Vanaprastha Ashrama, he is supposed to practice the Veda Purva Bhaga or Dharma Shastra. If a person follows all that, he becomes a Bhaga. Then he becomes fit for Vedanta Bhaga. In short, he will gain Jnana Yogyata. Till that time, he has to follow and practice what he studied. Study may be completed in 12 or so years, but thereafter he has to practice the religious life for a length of time until he gets the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Even in our professional life, they talk about continuous education. Whether you are public accountant, lawyer, doctor, you have to continuously learn. You're practicing, learning from that, and then developments take place, you need to be conversant. You need to update yourself. All that is required. After getting sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, the next stage is vidvatvam. Vidvatvam asmat param. Here, vidvatvam means Vedanta Shravanam, the Vedantic learning. So, in the first line, Viprata came. For that, I said Vedic learning. Now, Vidvatvam, I'm translating Vidvatvam as Vedantic learning. The Vedic learning is Karma Shastrajna. Many people are confused and say Vedanta should be introduced in all schools and colleges. No, Vedanta should not be introduced in schools and colleges because Vedanta is for a person who has gained sadhana chatushtaya sampatti by following Dharma Shastra. Therefore, what should be introduced in schools and colleges is Veda Purva or Dharma Shastra, which consists of rituals, attitudes, and values. In the present day, rituals may not be relevant or practical. Therefore, one may not introduce the ritualistic part of Dharma, Vedic Dharma. Values and virtues, known as Karma Yoga, is still relevant and important. It is also emphasized in the Bhagavad Gita as a preparatory sadhana for the study of Vedanta. Therefore, Viprata means Dharma Shastra Jnanam and Vidvatvam means Brahma Shastra Jnanam. There are only two subject matters that is in the Vedas. And they are Dharma and Brahma. And both are Atindriya Vishaya, beyond our senses. So you have to go to the Vedas for that. There's no other source. So Viprata relates to Dharma part of it, the Veda Purva Bhaga. And Vidvatvam relates to Vedanta Bhaga, Brahma Shastra, Jnana. And that is gained through Shravana. Listening to the Guru who teaches what is in the Shastra only, scriptures only. I am ready to do Shravanam, listen. But I need a Guru. And the scriptures say that such a Guru should be a Shrotriya Brahmanistha. How do I know Shrotriya Brahmanistha? The only means of getting a Guru is to pray to the Lord. The Lord has to supply. And He has a big inventory. Sometimes He comes Himself, comes down Himself, as in the case of Arjuna, He Himself. And other times He outsources that also. He sends various Gurus. We don't have to worry about how He sources it. Okay? He has an infinite supply of Gurus. He will provide the appropriate Guru for an appropriate person at the appropriate time. Therefore, to get a Guru and get an opportunity to study, to do the Shravanam, that is still rare. So, Manushyatvam, Pumstvam, Pumsatvam, Viprata, and then Vidvatvam. As you go higher and higher, it becomes still more and more difficult. After Shravanam, Atma Anatma Vivechanam, ability to discriminate between what I am and what I am not. What is Atma? What is Anatma? What is the self? What is the not self? And this corresponds to Mananam. A person who blindly takes the words of a teacher cannot own up the knowledge as his own. That is still a paroksha jnanam only. After I listen to the teacher, I should be thinking about what was said, independently analyze and get conviction. Then only those ideas will become your own ideas. Yes, Vedanta requires guru. Vedanta also requires independent thinking. So one must be a reasonably rational person and an intellectual person. That's why in the olden days, they used to study Tarka, Mimamsa, Vyakarana, all of which are only for sharpening the thinking faculty. Logic, analyzing the sentences, Vyakarana, grammar, to understand the words, the etymology of the words, so that you can understand what these words say, what these sentences say. So you need to have those skills as well so that you can think right. What you are thinking is important, and how you go about thinking, that's more important. Thinking is rather difficult to do. Not easy. Not easy at all. That's why many people do not like Vedanta. And they go to some other system of spirituality, so called. And everybody wants to be told, you do this, you do that. They're happy to listen to such. And there are plenty of people to give out that kind of, dish out that kind of knowledge also. They will say, don't ask why. Believe me, trust me, just do it. Be devoted to me, to what I say. I do not say not to have devotion. I'm not. Yes, in such blind following, even when that does not work, you will just jump from there to another system. Endlessly, you will be chasing something or the other. Vedanta says, think, ask questions, ask as many questions, raise as many doubts, get clarity. That is very much all our Upanishads, those of you who studied the Upanishad, it's always a dialogue between the teacher and the student. Student comes up with a question and goes to the guru, and at the right time asks this question. The guru answers. And then in the process, he will ask his doubts at the right time. Bhagavad Gita also, Arjuna has so many questions. That's what needs to be done. Therefore, Shankaracharya says, Atma Anatma Vivechanam, terminate Atma and Anatma. So this corresponds to Mananam. Vidvatvam is Shravanam and Atma Anatma Vivechanam is Mananam. Then Swanubhavaha, Aparoksha Jnanam or Nididhyasanam, Aparokshikaranam, that Paroksha Jnanam you have gathered from the Guru, that has to become Aparoksha Jnanam. Aparoksha Anubhuti it should become. That means internalizing the teaching, assimilating the teaching, digesting the teaching, so that knowledge becomes one with you. That internalization, that is the ability to replace the word Atma and Brahman by the word I. The teacher Upadesha is Tattvamasi. And you have to take that and then transform that to Aham Brahmasmi. You have to declare that loud and clear without any doubt whatsoever. We may be reading Atma is this, Brahman is that, Satchidananda Atma, but then you should say, I am that Sat, I am that Chit, I am that Anand. That means until now I was saying Brahman, I should be able to say, I am Brahman. Not merely verbally, I must be able to say that from my own heart. Similarly, I am pure, I am independent, the world cannot disturb me. I am Jivan Muktaha. All this should come from my own heart. This internalization, the assimilation, is called aparokshikaranam. That is called here as swa anubhavaha, understanding called nididhyasanam. This is gained through nididhyasanam. The shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam, all are important. Then brahmatmana samstitihi, brahmatma rupena avasthanam, abiding in this knowledge that I am Brahman. This is known as Brahmanishtha, otherwise called Atmanishtha, otherwise called Jnananishtha. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is called Brahmi Sthitihi, Sthita Prajna, Sthira Prajna, otherwise called Jivan Muktihi. The difference between Nididhyasanam and Jivan Mukti is that in Nididhyasanam, effort is involved to dwell in this knowledge. In Jivan Mukti, it has become spontaneous, effortless, normal, very natural for you. This is the difference. In both, I say Aham Brahmasmi. The Nididhyasanam Aham Brahmasmi requires well effort. The Jivan Mukti Aham Brahmasmi does not need any will, it is very natural. And that Jivan Mukta will continue to be a Jivan Mukta until his Prarabdha is over. Once the Prarabdha is over, the state of the Jnani is called Videha Mukti. And Videha Mukti is nothing but freedom from Punarjanma. Destruction of all the three Shariras, Stula, Sukshma, Karan, Sharira. In the fourth line, Muktihi means Videha Mukti, the final stage. This is the culmination, and it started from Jantunam Narajanma. Starting from Nara, human to Brahman. That is the journey. This successful journey is punyair vina na labhyate. Impossible without punyam, without Ishvara anugraha. Of course, we do not say Ishvara anugraha alone will give moksha. Ishvara anugraha, grace and blessings of the Lord, can never replace effort. Effort plus grace together will give success. Here Shankaracharya emphasizes grace so that we study with devotion, humility, and a prayerful attitude. Therefore, he says, Shatakoti Janma or Shatajanma Koti, both are same. Shatakoti means 100 crores. In 100 crores of Janmas, whatever Sukritaihi with Punya we have done in countless births and countless human births, we have again gained a human birth. And now with all these rare qualities. So the rareness and the importance of this opportunity is pointed out. After having born as a human being now, I must have human qualities, have manliness, yes. I have a lot of ambitions to be a millionaire, to be a billionaire. It's very good, nothing wrong in that, but greater than that. Don't give importance only to material achievements. Having a spiritual goal, study that also. Study the scriptures also, not just economics and science. Something greater. When you study that, live that type of life as taught in the scriptures, that will purify your mind. Then, higher than that, discriminate between the self and the not self. Then experience the Atma as I am. That Brahman I am. That is mukti. That is not acquired without merits acquired through countless births. We should not take anything for granted. So this verse is Vastu Sangraha Vakya, a capsule verse for the entire text. For that matter, the entire spiritual path also. And this Vastu Sangraha Vakya will be elaborated. 579 verses. Total of 581. We have seen the invocation, which can, in a capsule form, everything that is going to be unfolded. Starting next class, we will look forward to that, and I look forward to all of you coming back so that we can Om Purnamadah Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om